This is Rydo, and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, March 9th. We're not doing great. Not doing great at all. We need to get all three of these things done, but we were playing with Shaman and trying to get 3 wins. We almost got 1 win, but then the player decided to cheat effectively using that awful mage deck. Let's see, we need a druid deck full of druid cards. So, we have 2 pirates here, so I'm just going to get rid of this wild deck because we're on my Asian account and I don't see any reason to have any wild decks at all. And the weird thing here is, because I'm just going to be playing to play druid cards, I might as well just continue to play ranked. It doesn't matter if I win or not. It will only matter if I lose, if I can get up higher in the ranking level. So, standard rank 21 with this new custom druid. Go! Boy, did that game irritate me. And in general, it's irritating to spend 50 minutes playing Hearthstone and not able to get even a single victory. Like, if we extrapolate that kind of win ratio out, I could stream for 12 hours, if I could physically stream for 12 hours, and potentially not get any victories. Like 0 times 12 is still 0. But let's be a little bit more fair and say maybe I get 1 or 2 victories in an hour. Then so what? I mean, if I stream for 12 hours, I've gotten maybe up 1 or 2 ranks. I really couldn't be one of those Twitch streamers that just plays Hearthstone. Really couldn't. Speaking of staying up, I said in the before we started the silent post show in the last stream that I almost guarantee that I'm gonna fall asleep in that stream. I literally did fall asleep for like 50 minutes, and because the controller was on my bed, just general tossing and turning was moving the mouse ever so slightly, so it wasn't logging me out of Hearthstone. But I literally had the mouse in my hand and just fell asleep, and then woke up 50 minutes later and grabbed the mouse and continued playing. That is by far a new low in quality for me, certainly. But still, 50 minutes of just Hearthstone on the screen probably helps my channel. That's how bad the YouTube algorithm is. It doesn't care what you're showing. It doesn't care if anybody's watching. If you're streaming at all, it will slightly promote that. Which that certainly shouldn't be the case. Let's keep on playing. I have a lot of news to go through today, and this feels like it's going to be a typical Friday where nobody comes on the chat or anything. I think maybe I need to put a rule here. Say hi. Say hi when you watch a stream. Like, I think that would be very helpful if I could convince people to always just get in the chat, say hi. If they never say anything else in the chat, that's fine. That would just be more engagement and better promote my channel, and it would at least give me some energy Because right now when I see nobody in the chat, like I can't see who's watching or the number of people who are watching. So there could be 10 people watching right now. There could be 0 people watching right now. I don't know. I'm looking at the chat. That's the only thing I have a screen to watch. So yeah, that'd be very helpful. There's a new game that came on Steam called Wild Glory. It came out March 8th. It looks like a kind of fighting game in the Coliseum. Maybe tile-based fighting. Or maybe not. Maybe just full action fighting. It desperately needs a video. Let's see. Let me watch this video. There's a bunch of coins, and it looks like there's different types of ground. Yeah, it's not a tile-based game. It's full action. Looks like it might be it's local multiplayer co-op, so it's nothing for me. I couldn't play it. It won the SB Games winner for games by students in Cortiba 2017. I've never heard of this award. Man, I should have played this first. There we go. Reviews. Let's see, the only one in English is positive. Honestly, this game doesn't look bad. And that's really pretty consistent in student games that I've seen. Like, when you're a student and you're getting a grade on something, and it's a project even with one person or just a couple people, they seem to do a lot better quality small indie games than half the small indie developers out there that are just selling asset flips or haven't even gone to college yet. I'd love to see some statistics of the age of some of the developers of people that are releasing games on Steam. Let's see, what do I have? 3, so I can do this. And I can do this. And before this guy gets killed, I'm just going to go ahead and heal to play yet another card. So yeah, Wild Glory looks good. I can't fully suggest people buy it. Let's see, how much is it? $2.99. Until it gets like some more reviews, and it's totally multiplayer only, local multiplayer, so you'd have to have a group of friends, but there's nothing super wrong with it. Moving on, Gamatsu. I guess I've kind of stopped pointing out where I'm gonna get the articles from. I think I'm gonna only point that out if I think they're doing a biased article. 1 damage and draw a card, or 3 damage. I think I need to draw a card, so I'm gonna do this. And play this. Remember, I only really have to play cards, so if I lose here, it doesn't matter. There's a game called Saga, S-A-G-A, Scarlet Grace, coming to PlayStation 4, Switch, PC, and smartphones. That is quite the wide range from the PS4 and PC, which are what I say top tier consoles or platforms, to the Switch, which is a mid-tier platform, and smartphones, which is clearly a low-tier platform, which the low has certainly improved. Like, smartphones are pretty powerful, but they still don't have graphics cards in them that are designed to play games. With a name like Scarlet Grace, you kind of know that this is a Japanese style game. Scarlet Grace which was originally launched for PS Vita in Japan in December 2016, and blah blah blah. Square Enix announced it will be called Saga Scarlet Grace Hero no Yobu Scarlet Ambition. In Scarlet Grace, players choose between 4 protagonists and live out the story of each character. It uses a free scenario system that changes the story based on the player's decision, and you can befriend over 70 characters. Combat uses a strategic battle system, even among traditional RPGs based in the system. In that system is a timeline as well as sparks and party formation. So I want to watch the trailer on this one. This was yet another Nintendo Direct, although why, like, this is one of those reminders of the Nintendo Direct. While it may be in English, it's still from a Japanese company and speaking to the whole world. So this looks like an old school JRPG. There's a large group of people that have timers, I believe. So it's one of those timer-based attack systems that aren't great. A lot of the animations, there are some 3D animations that look good, but a lot of it seems to be bad too. So I think you're gonna get very inconsistent animation in this game, and it's kind of just a JRPG. So yet another JRPG that you probably wouldn't want to play until it has proven itself, if it was going to prove itself to be the next, you know, Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger. Meanwhile, Square Enix is failing to even remaster and re-release a good version of Chrono Trigger or Secret of Mana. This one is interesting because I'm hoping this comes out to the West, but I imagine it's not. Right now it's just saying it's coming to Japan. But Taiko Drum Master, Nintendo Switch version, has been announced. It's going to include songs from Super Mario Odyssey and Splatoon. I'm sure most people in the West or outside of Japan don't know who Taiko Drum Master is, but it's a cutesy drumming simulator game. So if you know a drummer in your life, Taiko Drum Master is the game for them. Playing with the Switch, you'd be using the Joy-Cons unless they come out with an accessory that is an actual drum, which would be nice. There will be support for HD Rumble. I kind of wish Taiko Drum Master would come out to PC too, but it's not. I don't think it's actually as a first-party Nintendo game, though. But it was part of the Nintendo's Direct, but a lot of third-party people were in that Nintendo Direct. Taiko Drum Master is effectively a simplified yet faster version of Guitar Hero. There's different types of ways that you hit the drums to make different sounds, so it's not as simple as just you bang the drum and that's good. Donkey Konga, I think, may have been a modified version of a Taiko Drum Master game, and Donkey Konga did come out to the West, and it worked pretty well. It was a pretty fun kind of party game. Personally, I still have no beat, so I probably wouldn't do that well with it. And as a YouTuber, I don't know, like, if I'm beating on drums, I don't know how I'd record myself talking while beating on drums. That would be very loud and very annoying. Let's see, Phantasy Star Online 2. Ooh. semicolon Cloud launches April 4th in Japan, which apparently includes Link from the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, hairdo and costume and accessories. Let's see. Fantasy Online, Star Online, currently, let's see, I need to make sure I'm playing too. Currently is available for the PlayStation 4 and PS Vita and PC in Japan. Fantasy Star Online 2 Cloud is the same good, but instead of running locally, it runs in the cloud. Wow, like that's an interesting development in video games. It's like this game is now just going to become online instead of being, well, I mean, theoretically Phantasy Star Online was always online. It's just whether or not and they've got a female version of the Link outfit, so if you have any desire to play as a female Link, Phantasy Star Online 2 Cloud may be the game for you. There are definitely fans of the Phantasy Star Online series, but yeah, maybe I could get into it. It seems like it's a fast-paced kind of RPG game. Seems like something more that we could do. I'm still very iffy on which JRPG is the right JRPG to play, and almost certainly it's one of the old Final Fantasy games, not Phantasy Star Online. Like, get in there and play Final Fantasy 3, 7, 13, all the 13s. That'll keep me busy for a decade. Let's see, this and this and this and that. Super Smash Bros. Has been announced for the Switch, due out in 2018, with the inklings from Splatoon. It's really just been teased. No real information other than the inklings from Splatoon are going to be added. I'm pretty sure there already was a Super Smash Bros. Though, so I'm a little confused. If this is the first time they've had Super in front of the name, have they been calling everything else something different? Maybe they have. They also are bringing out some DLC for Splatoon that's like a single player experience, that if you pre-order it now you'll get some more skins for the multiplayer experience in Splatoon. I would play the single player experiences of Splatoon, certainly, if it was on PC. And Nintendo didn't copyright claim everything. Those two big ifs. Like, as a first-person shooter designed around being family-friendly, that's very intriguing. That being said, I also put Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash in my wish list over a couple days ago, because that's kind of the exact opposite. It's a first-person shooter designed around people who like looking at anime girls in bikinis. So definitely not family-friendly. And I certainly would play that game too. It really just comes down to, can I be critical of the game, and can I inform the appropriate customer to play the appropriate game? If I was making Splatoon, I'd be criticizing it from the perspective of, this is a game that you would want the youngest of your youngest kids to play. They're not old enough, in your opinion, for them to be playing, say, Halo or Borderlands or Battlefield or Battlefront or anything like that, because those are too violent and too realistic. So you go into Splatoon, where it's paintball, it's squid kids, it's disassociated from reality, and So I'd say, yeah, probably Splatoon's a good game for anybody 10 or older. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's still just a little too difficult a game for people below 10, and maybe a little too violent even then, if you're going E for everyone instead of E10 plus. Depending on the kid. Whereas Sinrin, Kagura, Peach Beach Splash, I think you pretty much say this is a mature and adult only game, so 16-year-olds at most, probably 18-year-olds should be playing the game. It's for people who are thirsty, to use a colloquialism, and want to see something slightly lewd. That's their main selling point. Moving on, there's a game called Octopath Traveler launching July 13th. A limited edition is announced. It's coming to the Switch. In this limited edition box, I have no idea what this game is, but it seems like it comes with a book, a map, and a diorama that folds out of the box. Like a cardboard folded up origami-esque diorama of a saloon stage. Alright, we played the druid cards, and now we just need to come to casual and start playing some of the shaman decks and see if we can maybe get some quick disconnects or something. Let's see. It's a Square Enix game. Let's see. Let's watch this, what the actual game is, though. It has kind of more of a fantasy style animation. The previous RPG, not Phantasy Star Online, but one of the previous RPGs I mentioned also kind of had that fantasy style animation. It's not going for an anime-esque look. I guess if you can divide the world into two different types of art style, there's which you can certainly. A lot of what I'm seeing right now is kind of 8-bit, arguably maybe better described as 16-bit pixel art characters that are way zoomed out. But then there's a lot of things that look like they might not actually be in the game. Just like screen bumps in this trailer that show more zoomed up art pieces. This kind of looks like it might be an RPG more around the idea of Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is very barely an RPG in the sense that you can go in the cave and fight, and you can level up your systems. This does have some fighting, but it seems to also be very focused around working with the with different like abilities. So you're a merchant and a warrior. Like there's apparently a double class system. Let's see. We have a new person on the chat called GK Gaming that says hi, and then he says notice me, and then he puts a bunch of emojis of head speaking. And he did all of these 4 posts in less than 2 minutes. 2 minutes ago was when his last post. Jeez, learn some patience. I'll see your comments. Yeah, I don't know about Octopath Traveler though. It looks like another RPG that might be the beginning of a new RPG series, but that happens so rarely. It's not realistic to hold your breath assuming that that's going to happen for any of the many RPGs that get announced, and most of them do get finished and released, but they don't consistently thrill the kind of niche audience that exists. One thing I will say about the Nintendo Direct videos on YouTube is they do have some good like SEO on them because they are suggesting other Nintendo Direct videos after you watch each Nintendo Direct video. Tragic Master came on and put in a smiley face. Hi, Tragic. Tragic, did I just got the gym that I traded you for a coupon, the one gym where I was trying to give you the coupon. Did you just get that coupon, or did you immediately get that coupon? Because if it turns out that giving a coupon to somebody takes weeks and weeks for it to be processed and accepted, I guess I really can't trade coupons because the coupon was expired or would be expired. So if that coupon was expired and you couldn't use it or you didn't want to use it, let me know, because I want to apologize for that and not do it again. Or if it worked perfectly fine, that's fine. It may very well be that because I initiated the trade, they held on to that one gym for me, but they gave you the coupon instantaneously as soon as you accepted the trade. I didn't. Steam's not really great about telling me anything, so I didn't even know you accepted the trade. I thought you had just kind of either ignored it or declined it, which would have been fine too. Let's see. Like, I really want it to work so people can friend me and say, hey, if you want this coupon that I've got in my inventory, take it, because I'm not going to use it. I've got several coupons for Sega games in my inventory right now I'm not going to use. And right now I'm just really over budget. So, like, I'm not going to really be buying any games for quite a while. I'm missing out on some Humble bundles I would have liked to purchase, but I'm not even capable of spending the $1 or the $20 at most to buy a Humble Bundle. And some of that, well, really none of that actually has anything to do with YouTube and demonetizing me. It just has to do with other things. Only in the longest stretch of the imagination to say that YouTube has always been underpaying content creators, and because they've always been underpaying me for the 4 years I've been running my channel, that's why I don't have extra cash now, which that is a valid argument that you could make with any job. It's like, if you'd been working at McDonald's for 5 years and they've been paying you way too little, yes, you won't have any money saved up for that kidney transplant you need, or whatever it is. Moving on back to games, Dark Souls Remastered has a free network test right now, and a Switch Amiibo. Praise the sun. Switch Amiibo has been announced. The Switch Amiibo just causes your character to praise the sun, from best that I can tell. I really am trying to win here, so let's see if we can do something to keep myself from dying. Let's see. The free network test gives players the ability to play Dark Souls Remastered prior to the launch. Let's see. What can you play the network test on, though? I guess maybe you can play it on everything. It's coming out for the PlayStation 4, the Dark Souls Remastered, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And this is exactly what I suspected they were going to do. Like, it was barely a month ago that they shut down the servers for Dark Souls. Or was that Demon Souls? Either way, I think it was both. Maybe at different times. And as soon as they shut down the servers, they come back with a remastered version. And what if they come back with a remastered version and shut down the servers on that one? Like how many different times are they going to sucker people into buying the same game? One assumes the remastered version is better than anything. Better graphics than the previous version. And you really wouldn't want to bring Dark Souls over to a new console without calling it a remastered version, even if it really wasn't. Because that would just be a backwards compatibility announcement, which is not gonna sell you more copies. They're kind of adopting the anime style of releasing some Japanese games where, you know, there's the original release of a DVD, then there's a Blu-ray version of the show, and then there's a remastered version, and then let's recut it. Let's make Dragon Ball Z, then let's make Dragon Ball Z Kai, and then, but before we release Dragon Ball Z Kai, let's do Dragon Ball Z Remastered, because they did that too. Like Dragon Ball Z in particular, if you went back and looked at the history of how many different times they released that, they released it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, remastered, Dragon Ball Z Kai. I'm sure there's a Dragon Ball Z Kai remaster coming out. Subbed, dubbed versions to confuse the issue. But you really don't need that in games. Either you are releasing the game, or you're actually remastering the game. And if you put the phrase remaster on the game, I want video game players to hold companies to a high standard on what a remaster means. I would argue the Bulletstorm remaster probably didn't need to happen and wasn't much of a real remaster. I'm sure there's a lot of other games that if I thought really hard about it, I could find that also claimed they were remastered, but they were barely upscales. Yeah. Tragic Master says, coupon you say? I did not know about a coupon, so I don't know if I got it or not. Yeah, look in your Steam inventory and see if you got a coupon or not. That, like, you accepted the deal. I got the one gem I was asking for it. So you should have gotten a coupon, otherwise you just got screwed by Steam. A Tragic Master says, I only play Hearthstone at the moment, thinking about reloading Diablo 2 though. Try the perfect drop mod for fun. Ooh, that's an interesting phrase of a mod. Diablo 2 perfect drop mod. So does that mod just guarantee you the highest perfect drop you would get at your level, or does it always give you the best, like, highest gem possible? I guess it would be really boring if the mod just gives you the strongest swords always, and it's just the same sword over and over again, because I don't even think in Diablo 2 that there is a durability system. So you would just get rid of your weapons because you got better weapons. So it would have to be leveled some way. Otherwise, in the first 5 minutes, you'd have like the best gems ever, the most number of sockets you could put on a weapon. I like the idea of that mod, though. You tempted me, Tragic Master, to do a playthrough of Diablo 2 modded, even though I haven't played the game unmodded. I definitely don't have time for that. And frankly, if I was going to play Diablo 2, I'd feel a little... I feel required to play Diablo 1. And I don't know if I have time for that either. I always have in the back of my head this hope and this myth that maybe I could play something that is pretty brainless like Diablo. Because, let's face it, in Diablo all you're doing is clicking. Click, 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 click. And pressing a few keys to keep your health and mana up. It's an interesting enough control scheme, but it's not super complicated. In the back of my head, I always think maybe this would be a brainless game where maybe I wouldn't feel like doing more complicated gameplay for other games, but I would play this. However, that's what Hearthstone was supposed to be, and it doesn't really work. Great. Finally, one victory. Tragic Master. I've not run Steam in about a year and a half. Maybe I'm... Oh, sorry, Tragic. Sorry, I've confused you. Yeah. I'm sorry. I confused you with Travis. Just the TR. Like, I traded with Travis and not you, because I don't even... Yeah, if you haven't run Steam in a year, you haven't even friended me on Steam. So yeah, my apologies. The names all blur in my head. Yep. Let's see. Tragic Master also says, perfect drop mod allows you to get the best drops per leveled area, so you get perfect uniques like Big and Bonnet level 5, but later you get to carry a full inventory of torches plus anise, which I don't know what anise is. A-N-N-I-S. It also adds new crafting recipes, so you can craft high runes plus materials for crafting early, and you get perfect rolls on the rune words. That does sound very interesting as a mod. Like, particularly since I have played Diablo 2 and playing the basic experience isn't as good. I could certainly see in Skyrim, if Skyrim just gave you ridiculous amounts of experience in the first 5 minutes, so that you were always at level 100 with all the skills and all the abilities. Just start completely maxed out. That would be cool. Like, the skill points in particular would be very nice on something like Skyrim. Like, that's not probably the experience you'd want the first time you played through, but second time, sure. I wasn't even really aware that Diablo 2 had mods support. I guess it doesn't really need mod support if you can just squeeze mods into a game. Darn it. So we're playing against the mage. So anytime playing against the mage, there's room for frustration. It's quite the commitment to play just Hearthstone. Tragic Master continues, your inventory is expanded full page instead of bottom 1/3, and you get like 28 pages of space in your chest instead of 1/2 of 1 page. Interesting. Yeah, so no encumberment basically in Diablo 2. No, not as much, if I'm understanding Tragic, running back to the main city to empty out your chest. Not if I am thinking about Diablo 2, I've played several games like that where you've at a certain point you're just dumping garbage items on the ground and leaving them there to despawn. A mod like that starts to directly criticize what they chose to actually do in the release of Diablo 2, because when you see a mod that effectively makes everything better and more playable and have less grind in it, less busy work in it, you have to question why the grind and why the busy work was there in the first place. And so many games of the old, and even games of new, are still full of the grind, designed to keep you playing games, and that's kind of what Ubisoft's goal now is. Instead of doing annual releases, it's to get people to just keep playing the current games that they've already bought, and buy more microtransactions and grind through that. That's also what Battlefront was trying to do, is make you grind through things or spend microtransactions to not have to grind. Imagine Diablo 2 if it had microtransactions in it. It would just make the game so much worse. See, Tragic Master says the game is scaled a little higher to compensate, but it's designed for players to maximize their in-game character builds. There was certainly in the old days when you only got a few games. Wow, second victory. Great. One more victory and then we can move over to the European account. Like, back in the old days, and when you're a kid and only get 1 or 2 games maybe a year, Diablo would have been a great game to get because you can play it over and over again and continue to level up your character. Now, from an adult's perspective, I'm like, I don't have time for that. From somebody who has hundreds of games on Steam, I'm like, yeah, I don't have time to play Diablo 2 twice in a row, let alone continue to play it over and over again. Moving on though, Nintendo has inked a deal with Yo-Yo to bring Game Maker Studio 2 games to Switch, which seems a little crazy. Game Maker Studio is a software on Steam that that lets people who don't know how to make games try to make games. It's kind of like RPG Maker in a sense. It's not as much an engine like Unity or Unreal, where you really do need to have some C++ experience and know how to program and know how to actually make something that's different and unique and stands out amongst all the other things. Let's see. The news was announced today at the Nintendo confirmed at the Nintendo Direct that there will be a Switch version of Toby Fox's Undertale, the award-winning game RPG built with Game Maker. Undertale is made with Game Maker, but Undertale doesn't succeed because it's a Game Maker game. It succeeds because it has an interesting story and got a lot of hype from the games press. Let's see. Says Nintendo are planned to release a Nintendo Switch edition of Game Maker Studio 2. So people on Switch, using a Switch, are going to try and make video games. Like a Mario Maker type thing, except for video games. And if you get that to any other Switch, it's questionable. I'd imagine you can make a game, save it to an SD card, and give it to your friends. Maybe post it on the internet, and that's it. I bet when Nintendo launches its eShop, they won't allow you to post Game Maker 2 Studio games to that. Particularly since Nintendo's eShop has already said they weren't going to have a indie section at all. See, they say, we're working hard to ensure the Nintendo Switch version of Game Maker Studio 2 retains the already excellent functionality of the engine. We are committed to supporting developers and studios who are keen to make the jump to the Nintendo record-breaking console. Let's see, Game Maker Studio came out last March, so it's been out for 1 year. I really don't get this. I suppose I could be misinterpreting it, and what they're saying is that if you make a game in Game Maker Studio Nintendo Edition on your PC, the game will run on the Nintendo Switch. But I don't think that's what that means. I think the actual development studio is going to be on the Switch. And it's probably not going to be that useful. That sounds really annoying. To have the Switch flooded with terrible games. Tragic Master said Diablo 2 did have microtransaction JSP. I never used it. 8 years playing until last year I played. It was a great way to do trades efficiently. GSP is not Blizzard, but it has been around since the beginning. Honor-based system with a solid community. I found this out 7 years late. So, I guess that's you. I guess you get online and you trade people items. I guess that would be how that would work. Let's play this. Guess I could have played this and this instead. That would have been a smarter move. Alright, PC Gamer has the article, here's the violent video game montage shown at the White House today, but that would have been actually yesterday. From what I hear, whoever made this video for the White House literally just stole video from Let's Players. And so it would be kind of funny if this is if this video and the White House's YouTube channel got DMCA'd. Takedown notice. And so they're hunting and pecking and taking images from a lot of first-person shooters and horror games, and the infamous scene where you gun down people in the airport. A lot of these are probably story breaking. The stabbing animation from one of the Wolfenstein games, shooting people in Fallout. I wouldn't be surprised if some of this footage turns out to actually have mods in them. The Sniper Elite games that do the brutal X-ray stuff. Evil Within death scene animation that I never even saw because I didn't die in that section. And then every single video here is putting itself back to see so interesting in that video, there's really no violence that I haven't ever seen before, and no violence in that video that really caught my attention. The bottom part of this article says Representative Vicky also told the Washington Post that while the montage was playing, Trump asked attendees, "This is violent, isn't it?" Which, honestly, my response there, whether it played well or not, would have been to say, no, actually it isn't. Because this is fiction. But that might just get down to a wordplay semantics game. Let's see. Overload cards, minions, and warlock cards. Now on the European account. There we go. Overload. And rank 23. Might as well play ranked. The footage includes, to quote the PC Game article, the footage includes Nazis being shot, which everyone used to agree was a good thing. Yeah, you didn't need to put that. Let's see. the clips comprise just over a minute of footage, more than enough to base sweeping policy decisions on. Yep, whatever your opinions on it. Here's the thing: if you go and watch some of the Vietnam movies, Watership Down. If you go watch some of the Tarantino films, like, I could pick out more violent content from one Tarantino film alone and make more footage and do more edits. Just in, like, Kill Bill Volume 1 would be a great example of movies that are completely full of violence. There's really nothing you're proving there. But I mean, this whole thing is just kind of a distraction. It's just a NRA talking point to get away from blaming guns for actual gun violence. I saw somebody made a meme picture that was pretty funny. It was like the Captain Picard frustrated meme where it's like, if you think society is actually affected so easily by video games, then why would you give them guns? And that is a pretty fun twist on it. If you actually are arguing that children in society are so affected by fiction, where we've had thousands and thousands of years of fictitious stories going back way further than Shakespeare, full of violence, then why do we let anybody have weapons at all? If we're just gonna create a baby society where we can't trust people with anything at all, why are we allowed knives to cut food? Like, why are we allowed forks? I, on one hand, kind of wonder if it wouldn't have been better for the ESA to be a little bit less political and just say, we're not going to waste our time or the White House's time by even showing up. But I mean, that's politics in a nutshell. The White House having a meeting and talking about violence in video games is literally just the White House wasting everybody's time and the taxpayers' money, because somebody was paid to make this video, somebody was paid to organize that meeting. And by the way, it wasn't just video game creators and White House staff there. They also invited several people who have made it their mission to say video games are too violent for no reason, and also no scientists at all. And at the end of the meeting, what does Trump and the White House come out and say? They come out and say that we agree that we've seen research that says video game violence does affect kids. There's no research. They just said whatever they wanted, which, I mean, that's kind of what Trump does always. Let's not get into too much politics. But the outcome, the press release statement, was written before the meeting even happened. It was a huge waste of time. Now, to be fair, I'm not super hysterical about this, because nothing's probably going to happen from this. It's just a bunch of politicians making hay for getting press by saying ridiculous and pointless things. When you compare people blaming video games for school shootings compared to the YouTube adpocalypse, which is a little bit closer and more related to my situation right now, the difference one hopes and one thinks is that government is controlled by laws, and it's slow to make any changes, which is often a good thing. So the government is not going to overreact like YouTube overreacted with the adpocalypse and ban all video games. Like, the Supreme Court has already ruled that you can't even ban the sale of mature games to underage kids, which, in fairness, I think that's kind of extreme in myself. I would be perfectly fine with saying mature rated games can't be sold to somebody under 18. But really, it's just store policies right now that are saying that. And it doesn't really matter because parents buy it for their kids and they don't look at it. Inherently, that the video game people should have asked Trump. It's like, what do you know, and what are you looking at for your own kids playing video games? What is Baron Trump playing? Because you're looking at a footage here of mature rated games that are not appropriate for people under the age of 18. So if this is what you're seeing in your own home on the second floor of the White House, if this is what Baron Trump is playing, it is because you are not informed and you are a bad parent. As far as the video game monitoring is going on, he shouldn't be letting his kid, who is under 18, play mature rated games. And maybe the ESA has, and video game industry in general, has been bad about really educating and informing parents. But parents these days play games themselves. They know the rating system. They know whether they care or not what their kid plays. But I'm getting too much of a rant. City Skylines has sold over 5 million copies on PC alone, which City Skylines did pretty good. It did not, however, work for me because of the just general lack of scaling. I couldn't see the icons. I couldn't understand what I was clicking on. Also, it's just kind of a Sim City type game that didn't really interest me. Let's see. Somebody made a joke. What would happen if the United States government ever found out that anime existed? Like some of those 80 animes that were extremely violent too, would just blow their head out of the way. And I'm not even talking about the full-on sex anime hentai stuff either. I'm talking just general mature rated anime. Like, oh boy, would they have a field day if they ever knew about that. Don't tell anybody that exists. And certainly you probably could have found a lot less popular games that were a lot more violent. But they wouldn't have had as much realistic graphics, I suppose, or much general appeal. And they're really sticking to some pretty obvious ones. Grand Theft Auto being a little too cartoony by today's standards. Not in that montage. Like Fallout 4 was the least artistic looking, realistic art looking game. What am I supposed to be doing right now, by the way? I've kind of lost the plot. Am I supposed to be playing cards, or am I supposed to be winning? I think I'm supposed to be playing overload cards. Fox Next has opened a new studio to create story-driven games. It will be a San Francisco-based studio called Fogbank Entertainment. I would really like to know, however, who Fox Next is, because they're not a company I've ever heard of. Let's see, Fox Next, Wikipedia. Fox Next is a video game, virtual reality, and theme park division announced by 20th Century Fox. Okay, so the movie people are getting into making virtual reality things. Let's see, what games? Like, there's not even a list here. Gotta play. Let's see. Virtual reality, augmented. They're the makers of The Simpsons Tapped Out, Alien Isolation. Let's see. Marvel Strike Force. So it's cell phone games and VR games and theme park games. Yeah. I was wondering about that Fox name. I was like, why is this related to Fox, the movie company, or is this just the same name for some reason? Like, I don't think you'd really get away with creating a company called Fox in any kind of entertainment industry at all, even if you're not making movies or TV shows. I think 20th Century Fox would come down on you hard for that. Alright, I think we're done with the White House announcements. So I think this is also a good point to break up the recording. We're falling a little behind, and we may just end up making like 4 recordings today. Yeah, I need to play 4 more Overload cards and defeat more minions, and then we can play Warlock cards, and then maybe in less than 20 minutes, if I get really lucky, in the next recording we'll be done. That's it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.